Hello, YouTube. Two in a day again. Yeah, sometimes just make however many I want. So, you may all have heard of comedian Samuel L. Jackson. Well, so Samuel L. Jackson slams Uncle Clarence Thomas for hypocrisy on interracial marriage, which is where opposite, like a white person can marry a black person. The Pulp Fiction star mocked the justice for selectively omitting the case that legalized interracial marriage from a list of precedents Thomas wants to revisit. And yet, Clarence Thomas is married to a white woman himself, and he's a black man. Many of Hollywood's biggest names have slammed the Supreme Court's majority decision to overturn Roe v. Wade and the protection of abortion access at a federal level. But some in Hollywood, like Samuel L. Jackson, are also looking deeper into the concurring opinions in the case of Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health. Particularly, one written by Justice Clarence Thomas. While Thomas joined Justice Alito's majority opinion that overturned Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey, he also wrote a concurring opinion that went much further. So much so that none of these other justices joined it, and Justice Brett Kavanaugh seemed to specifically distance himself from it in his own occurring opinion. Thomas used the concurrence to air his grievances with substantive due process, a legal idea that says certain rights should be protected by courts, even if not specifically enumerated in the Constitution. The land of substantive due process allowed abortion to remain protected for nearly 50 years, despite not being mentioned in the Constitution or explicitly legalized in a federal statute. Thomas, an outspoken originalist who believes in literal textual readings of laws, now believes that the same logic that led to Roe v. Wade being overturned should lead to other landmark substantive due process cases being revisited. In future cases, we should consider all of this court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. Thomas wrote in his concurring opinion later saying that we have a duty to correct the error established in those precedents. Many found that section to be particularly alarming, given the cases he mentioned represent fundamental parts of American life that many take for granted. Griswold v. Connecticut established that adults have the right to contraceptives. Lawrence v. Texas established that it is illegal to punish people for homosexual activity. And Obergefell v. Hodges legalized same-sex marriage on a national level. His opinion has provoked plenty of outrage, including from Samuel L. Jackson, who called out the decision, and some apparent hypocrisy behind it, in a tweet on Friday. How is Uncle Clarence feeling about overturning Loving v. Virginia? Jackson referenced Loving v. Virginia, a case that utilized substantive due process to legalizing interracial marriages. The Pulp Fiction star appeared to call Thomas out for omitting the landmark case from the list of rulings he wants to revisit. Clarence Thomas, a black man, is married to Jeannie Thomas, a white woman. To Samuel L. Jackson, the decision to include a case that directly benefits him suggests that Thomas is less interested in historic legal processes than he is in obtaining results that advance a reactionary agenda. You can guarantee that since this idiot is definitely hypocritical, you can guarantee he wants to overturn Loving v. Virginia, when yet he's married to a white woman himself. Don't wake up and say, I want to be Clarence Thomas. That just makes you an idiot. Because he is one. You can guarantee he wants to overturn Loving v. Virginia. legalized international marriage where two different colored people can marry each other. And yet, Clarence Thomas is a black man married to a white woman. Hypocritical idiot. Have a good night.